just going to try and grasp him, you can move into the second bad phase and see what's happening there.
Well, I think some of my initial confusion comes from as well that I thought both teams were different because we've got different logos going. So I'm having to adjust that. You know me,
Oh, yeah.
I'm a bit dyslexic in that way. Gulborg. This is confusing me somewhat, but I think the Viego, no surprise that they're giving that over to Kareem. We spoke about how important it is for them to enable that early skirmish style that we have. It allows them to then pivot into something like maybe the Karma or Ronaldo. We've seen him go into that style quite often. I think Nuki on the Akali, very proficient on this champion, one of our best Akalis in the league, able to find a lot of advantage in these lanes. I just find some really crucial flanks. He's just able to do so much in some of these later team fights that I really think it's a pick that makes a lot of sense for them. I think it's probably a first outing for Smiley
I don't know about you, but
Zeri.
I'm looking at a still image here. I'm looking at 19 minutes not counting down. I just want to know, is that only me or is that actually not happening? Is
No,
it
no, no.
not moving?
I'm finished. I think the stream's finished as well.
Oh, okay, great. So we're just done now. We're
No,
going on.
I'm messing with you. It's a still image for me as well.
Yeah, okay, great. So I actually
I
like
could have kept that
the
going for a little bit longer. Just give
yeah,
you a
for
little bit more
sure.
panic. I would have
I
had you
mean,
refreshing the thing.
yeah. Now, okay, let's look at the building blocks, right? Looks like we're gonna, before we do that, it looks like we're gonna throw it to a break as we do have a chance to, like, we need to just readjust real quick. So we'll be right back. See you in a bit.
Welcome back. We're back from the brink, back from the break. Gulborg, how are we feeling?
Rank. Well, I'm feeling good. My voice is already running a bit dry. I need to make myself some hot water later.
You have like a you have like a you have like a weird trick that you do, don't you? Like warm water and honey or
Hot
something like
water
that.
with honey. Hot water with honey. That's the one. And
Can you tell the audience at home why that's good?
okay. So just in general, honey is good for your throat. Apples actually also contains so can't remember what it's called specifically, but apples also contain something that's really good for your voice. Coffee is actually really bad for your voice.
Speaking of what this draft contains, Gulborg, what does it contain? Let us know. Give us some analysis here.
Okay, so we have a Veigar into low range Aphelios, Pyke, Viego, and a Seri top lane and an Akali. What a power pick to come through from the mid lane over there from Team Go. I absolutely love Veigar. I'm assuming he came through as an R5. It's really something that can just break comps as the last pick coming through if you're not expecting it. And it also just is great peeling for your Twitch, right? You have Trundle Pillar, you have the Sion, you have the Twitch to play for. From the side of Team Go, it is so just simple team composition. 2 frontliners, 2 backline threats, and a Peeler, Disengager, Enchanter, whatever you want to call it, that can amplify the Twitch. Beautiful. Let's have a look at the time of Oplon. We wanted easy to execute team composition. There's nothing about that. That's easy to execute right there. That right there is a mechanical composition where, okay, we have the pike. All right, great engages will have to come through. You need to understand your windows, but now you're also against, 2 tanks. There's a pillar. There's a Event Horizon from Vega. There's the fact that pike won't actually, Twitch can actually get revived as well. So that's really hard to play against. Aphelios, good kite back. It's always nice to come back from his side. Akali, all about diving in. You usually need people that can dive in with you. Right now, you only have the pike. Viegos, he's pretty just much an all-around bruiser.
Well, it's definitely, I think it's fair to say, Go having a more kind of easy to execute composition. Oplon, a very well-oiled machine, but it's going to have to be the case that we're going to have to see whether they slip up or not. We're going to have to be showing you that very briefly. We're going to have to go to our intro here. We'll be seeing you very shortly in the game. Hello, hello, and we are descending onto the Rift now for Game 2 of the day. Oplon trying to find their way back from what has been a disappointing start to the season for them.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, what did you say?
I said, oh, yeah. I'm reaffirming what you're saying. I'm telling you, you're right.
You didn't have to, dig it in so hard.
Yeah, but it's true.
They're not having a good time, mate. You don't need to you've just done the equivalent of when a bully says something and they've got their sidekick in the background and their sidekick although he's physically weak just goes yeah.
Mate, you're spitting facts. I'm just ad-libbing for you. Don't throw me away.
Well, in any case, I'm going to be going into this bush in the bot lane now, and we spoke about how they're a team, although they've only found 1 win, they're still doing slightly better than they did in the spring split. Didn't find their win up until around about week 8. Now we're obviously heading into our super week 4, and they've already gotten that win. Now it's time for them to consolidate and build. They would have loved to have done the same against Solari yesterday, a weaker competition, but now today in a position whereby they need to find this victory. We actually got the compositions mixed around. We thought that Oplon were the team with Pike, didn't we?
Oh yeah, wasn't that how it wasn't in that case? But top is still reverse graphics. So if that's confusing anyone, Oplon is on the right side and Team Go is on the left side instead. This is going to be confusing.
I think they can read Gulborg. They can read Gulborg. That was very patronizing of you.
I didn't see it, okay? That's the thing. So I feel like if I didn't see it, then maybe they didn't either. Okay, Warts has come through down on the bot side. They should know where both of them are. Let's see how Kent's out. They're going to find
It's going to be an exchange, though. And lands the hook onto Twist, but a lot of damage is coming out in response. Even trades so far. More attacks from Zekor. We spoke about in the... First of all, I think one of the things that strikes out to me here in terms of the matchups is something we're not wanting to see, or not wanting to see, but something that we've not necessarily seen before is this Zeri in the top lane as the hook does land onto Twist here. Traditionally, you'd think of the Zeri being AD carry, maybe a mid lane at a push. Zeri top lane, Gulborg.
It happens more than you would think, actually. In the Superliga, hold my breath for a second as Twist is taking a good amount of damage. In the Superliga, actually, the Bison's top laner Merm plays Zeri top lane, I think, already 4 times this split, specifically into tank matchups, just due to the fact that it's so easy for him to get lane priority, he scales for free, and you just get to speed around the map and become a nuisance. So yeah, this matchup, we've seen it so many times in the Superliga, actually.
Well, one of our first times we're definitely seeing it here. Zeri we see pretty much every single time we've seen it. I believe it's been in the AD carry position. I don't think we've seen it flexed into that mid lane. I have seen it slightly often, but I'm happy to know that Gulborg at least has knowledge of this being in the top lane.
I'll tell you why it's so good. I'll tell you why.
Into tanks, yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you, specifically Sion as well. You know how Sion has a shield that's stopping you, yeah? You know how that happens? Yeah. Do you know what Zeri passive does?
No.
It steals shields. So if she auto attacks you while you have a shield, look at that.
Oh.
She gets the shield and movement speed herself.
You are so clever, Gulborg. You know what? Anyone ever told you that?
I get it. I get it a couple of times, but it never hurts hearing it.
What, a couple times a year or a couple times a day?
I feel like monthly is where we're putting it. You know, I'm still a little bit humble.
You're humble. I like that. That's good.
Yeah. Down towards the bot side, usually it's interesting actually to see that it's Twist and Seeker not having the bot lane priority. But sometimes some of that actually comes down to the fact that Twist as well had opted in for the Spell Thief Zed here instead of opting in for, a normal Relic Shield. Specifically as well, you'd have a melee matchup like Wagner in here. Sorry, I'm going to be butchering that name, but like him as well. Who's able to just, you know, take control of the minion wave, can execute the minions at half HP. You don't have that same pressure coming through from the side of Twist, so it's going to take some time for them. They need to build up waves, which they have now done in a stacked wave because they was pushed into them. And now they can start to excel on the fact that they have double range.
Yeah, that double range should help them a little bit more now as we've gone past this level 3 mark. And Oplon going to be heading back to base now. I think we've got a brief amount of time here. I can teach you how to say this guy's name. It's Vigor. Yeah.
Honestly, that was way easier than I thought. It's just in Danish, you know, we have a word called Einorm, and that basically just means, you know, worm. So I thought it was something along those lines, but obviously not. Einorm, perfect. Thank you so much, Jake. Look, you got some knowledge as well.
Hopefully he will not be a worm to the birds of prey that are Oplon. They're trying to find their second win of the split here. To give me a
I like that segue.
That was a good little segue. I had to laugh because it was so good.
I think actually so far it's just been very still in between them because, you know, there's barely any setup in lanes right now. There's setup for Trundle in the mid lane with King, of course, if they can catch up guard Ronaldo. But even then, if that Event Horizon comes down, they'll still have the Shroud you can play around in. Even with the Shriller, with the Pillar, still a Shroud to play around with. And it just, you know, allows yourself to get out of it. Where we really see the Oplon's composition shine is towards the mid. When you get items on the Twitch, when Vega has scaled up, and it gets to be about the team fighting. And more specifically, when it gets to be about the objective. Whoever sets up for the objective first really put themselves in a prime position.
Absolutely, and we speak about Go. One of our infographics we have in the previous Spider-Man Goes Fishing here, but not going to find too much. By Kareem, just a little battle for the vision here. One of our game of the weeks previously, where we saw this infographic. Might try and find a player, not too much going on here. There's a little bit of damage onto Ronaldo. Might be a further fight over some vision here. Dissuade Kareem. That ward going to be dropping down here though. Spoke about how Go as a team in one of the infographics we saw for our previous game of the week, hated play whereby they just find these engages out of nowhere. Sort of the snapping turtle they are in this league. The E here going to be doing so much. Peng. And this kill now, Ronaldo ticks down. Renata gets the first blood here, and it's a bit of over-aggression. They might even be able to find a little bit more. Agar W does a little bit more damage. But it's blood for Oplon here, and they needed to strike early in this game, and they've done it.
And that's just Vega for you. I'm not sure if they were the one who took that strike. It was more just like Go coming forward, stumbling a little bit, and then tripping over themselves. And yeah, hopefully I'm just picking that up themselves. But once again, Vega, Event Horizon, so strong against the likes of Pyke, Akali. It pretty much just splits open the entire team fight, and such a broken spell. But you know what's, realistically speaking, it might just be the strongest spell that's not an ultimate. I am willing to put that out there. And it just really just robbed mobility champions like the Akali and like the Pyke. You see it there.
It's an engage. They found Zeecore though. He has flash, but he's going to have to use it. Quite low there, Ignite burned by Wagner, but some aggression from Go's bot lane here. See that CS lead start to mount.
And a lot of that comes down to some of the micro you have with Pyke as well, where you're able to dash over kind of half of the wall there, as you are. You can just dash over the full wall, and then you get in the hook. So it looks like he's not going to be in range, but in actuality, he's actually going to be in range. And this is going to be huge. Just already look at the CS deficit between the two AD carries. Psyker is so far behind. Smiley's able to pick up so many plates here for himself, and crucially, Psyker at the same time, he's losing CS, he's losing XP, he's level 5 himself, Smiley's level 6, absolute immaculate gap between the two AD carries at the moment.
I'm going to give you another little name lesson here. Oh, for a second though. Top of base here, Smiley does get dragged in here though, Zeecore. A little bit of damage here, but the guns do mean that Smiley can turn back that damage on himself. Just get crashed in, shouldn't see too much aggression, goes wide there. I'm going to do you a favor here. I'm going to stop you from getting like angry messages from Tunisian fans. His name is
that's
Zeecore.
free exposure. Yeah, what did I say? Zeecore.
Zycore, I think you said something like that.
Ah, okay, fair enough.
I'll let you know.
I apologize, but if you do one of them, my DM's always open for you.
I don't think they'll be venting.
I mean, that's my copium. That's how I deal with it, bro. That is vending.
You've turned. I love that from
messages.
you. This is such a good strategy, like especially in such a league where we know that the fans can get so impassioned, and we love them for it. But you're basically just saying to them, if you guys want to get like really angry in my DMs, I will just turn it into a therapy session.
It can be anything. We'll talk about it. Just hit me up. I'm here. I'll listen. Help me help you.
With some help, Ronaldo might be needing a little bit of help in the mid lane here. He gets dragged in. Has that shroud available, going to be eating out here. Wagner's here as well. Has to flash though. They've stunned up Fire, but I don't think they quite have the damage to do much beyond that. Oplon are constantly just putting those numbers advantages in some of these exchanges and just stopping a lot of what want to get out of this early game. We spoke about how important it is for them to get this early skirmish style off, and where they found the gold lead, they are faltering in some regards. Goes in here, tries to find Fire. Nuku's off to the side as well. Right here, Alex here as well, though they found Nuku. Nuku's off to the side now. They've got to make a decision here. Do they want to turn back towards Kareem's flashed away here? Ronaldo's gone into his shroud here, going to be going away here, trying to find something. Resets are going to be so important. Vigram's flash forward. Here's your first ultimate of the game. Vigram finds another. They've not killed him yet. The hostile takeover comes out, but it's too little too late. Garlic has to do so much here. 2 for 2 so far. As if Oplon's going away with absolute murder here. Vigram did so much there in terms of getting the gold, but the gold advantage will have been generated there quite substantially. You can see there, 1.3k more the extra gold.
And I just feel like that fight could have been played out better from the side of Oplon here as well. You know, you had the Veigar, you had the tools to stop the movement from coming through, but that event of Ryzen in the early game has a quite long cooldown. So when that comes down, you need to make it matter. As soon as the enemy knows that's on cooldown, that's where they get aggressive. And crucially from Team Go, they see this window, they go for the punish, and they fight the fight.
Completely. It's really crucial they've been able to do that. I think another point, like we've just mentioned, is how much gold generation is there from this Plague. It's one of the benefits of getting this pick off. If you can get these kills off with those ultimates, you just do end up ballooning an advantage. And what was essentially around about a 500 gold lead before that, despite the kill deficit, has now gone into around about a 1.7k gold lead. And with them picking up the Rift Herald as well, they're going to be able to further balloon a lane of their choice. This is really a good outcome, I think, from this early game.
100%. Like I genuinely thought as well, like, oh, this Herald fight looks a little bit troll. Oh, there comes the
Vigam's
Veigar.
gone caught out. Ultimate is available. They're going to need to use it. Not available just yet for Peng though. A little bit more damage. All over the wall, gets an assist with the pillar. And this is good. I feel like they needed to get a return here after pulling up that deficit previously. They catch up Vigram with a nice bit of vision control there. And now the Veigar is a bit closer to scaling towards that monster that we know him for being.
And here's the cross maps coming through. Shelly on the top side, attacking through Team Go down towards the top side. OPL come through with the attack on Smiley.
Ghost Summoners here. Teleport comes out from Akali, but how much time can he buy? Flash is available, but he's not found a space to do it. It's Shunfire needs to be getting taken down here by Ronaldo. And they find him. He takes out one now. As the R2 goes forward, Zekor needs to find a little bit of damage in return here. Vigram's off to the side here as well. Zekor, one more will do it. That's going to be a double kill. Good response from Go here. Cross map was found for them on the top side, and they acquiesce and evaluate in the bot side.
And they're just not expecting the respecting rather the teleport to come through. In earlier seasons, you would have just seen a teleport response to come through from Peng, but we still haven't hit that 14-minute mark where he's able to teleport on towards the minions. Closest thing he could have gone to was the bot lane tower, and even that he would have been too far away. So while it looks good for Oplon in the beginning, finding a pick onto Vignorum, just not able to capitalize on it afterwards and Go. You know, they get the Herald on the top side, they get a few kills for Ronaldo on the bot side, and they stay in a gold lead, which is crucially what they need to, because just due to some of the compositional differences we've already talked about, they may get outscaled just a little bit.
Ease of execution as well being such an important theme of this game.
Oh no.
Shunfire, who excellently got that. Not exactly the outcome. I think Vigram gets a little bit of credit there for striking a little bit of fear into the hearts of Oplon, taking that blue buff. Over the wall as well. And now building towards a point where the game is very much in that kind of 3 minutes, nothing should really happen. Go are very much able to push that pressure forward. I want to see them get some of this advantage in terms of their vision control. You can see them moving as a unit to do that right now.
And that's Go right now. You need to accelerate too, because as we already said, like, you need to find a way where you bridge the lead that Aphelios had into a team lead instead. You need to find a way that you are making sure Ronaldo can stay ahead in a matchup where he can have kill pressure right now. You just have the Mythic. There's Mythic on Smiley. I think Smiley specifically is the guy you need to rotate the map around, because he's the one that will be dealing damage to kills at the moment.
Oh, Kareem's trying to reset. Wagner is the one who gets that in the end, but how important it was for them to move up that vision advantage, and they've done so. They fought out Twist here on a Potential rotation. Smiley's gone quite deep as well. There's a 4v2 in the bot side. The turret quite low as well. Garlic will have the teleport to response, but it will come at the cost of that turret falling if he chooses to opt into it. See him backing away in anticipation of the play. Peng and Schoenfire meeting the wave high to prevent this from going down, doing a little bit of damage to Ronaldo. Looks like just for now, as Twist is back onto the map, that this play will be avoided for the moment in time.
While top lane continues as it has so far. Backroom on reward here. Event Horizon not popping up in time to stop that dash to come through from the Pyke, of course. But I feel like that was a really good response, at least from OPL, to stop the pressure and allow, I think, Sequel to get one plate in the mid lane as well, get himself a little bit back into the game while the pressure is coming through from Go. But you can see Go, they are relentless. They are looking to stay active. They are looking to continue with their gold leads. Might even pick up the first turret here if Mewtwo is able to pick it up.
Yeah, it does manage to get it there. We spoke about how specifically this was a prepared counter into the Sion. I think it's fair to say, although the CS advantage isn't there, but just rattling away at all those 5 plates there, being able to get that and the first turret. Yuki really accelerated now, going to be able to provide a lot in that side lane, and also some of these 5v5s. For me, I think one of the problems that presented just from a very basic baseline perspective is the lack of frontline for Team Go. And as that gets into later in the game, how do they need to approach these teams?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, hopefully for Go, they're not actually hitting that really late game stage. They're looking to just completely play around the pressure they have right now, right? So currently, top lane pushed in. Kareem can start taking away some crocs. Mid lane pushed in. Alright, let's get some vision on towards the Raptors. Let's see if that's what Vayner are going to be doing afterwards as well. Just so you know, yep, there we have it. Stay in touch with where the enemy is. Keep rotating them around. Okay, we see everyone on OPL on the top side. You know what, Ronaldo? Go down in bot lane, take that free turret. This is how you want to rotate the enemy around, right? You want to keep the vision control going. You want to play around with the control you now get from having 2 side lanes you can fully push in. And you want to puppeteer your opponents around. So now you can push this in again. A response will come through. You can move your members into the mid lane. You can try and take prior over the Drake. 30 seconds till that spawn. It's just really up to Go how they want to orchestrate the next play, because they're the one who has the tempo advantage and a freaking 4k gold lead.
Yeah, completely. I think it's really quite impressive they've been able to build this. It comes from the 2 turrets. It comes from all that gold generation, like we said, from the Pyke. It comes from so much of that solo gold from the plates onto UQ here. On a round vision here, rather. They need to find something. They need to be a pig. They need to use something with the Veigar to catch someone up and just prevent some of these resets. Because the longer these team fights go, if one person goes down from Oplon, it can really spell disaster. So I think they just have to give this football.
I mean, it's ice and pinks if you want to go for it. Flamethrower comes out, bursts them down a little bit, and yeah, they just have no control over this area whatsoever.
He's found a good flank here. Zeko's gone low. He's in vision here. He finds Schoenfire. Schoenfire's red smite's going to mean that it's quite difficult for him to get anything. Ultimate has been burnt now. Twist is taken up before the hostile takeover can get out. Ronaldo's gone fast. The Event Horizon, he's absolutely found his way through that step overs on the ball. He's Ronaldo as Viking gets taken out in response here. And taken out, Nuku goes in here. He needs to try and find something, but can't quite do it. It's hard, not landing quite. Members taken out from Oplon. Wonderful from Ronaldo there. Finds
I mean, Jake, you called it. Like, why should they even contest this objective? There's really no leeway for them to get into it. And it just feels like a little loss that they're already committing to this, especially once again, they have late game scaling at their side. They don't have to commit to these early plays, but it just looks like frustrating and like lost plays once again from Oplon coming through. And now Drake being taken over by Karim. Then on the opposite side of the map, they're just bridging it to take Schoenfire away from the Rift Tail with the Voices. But maybe they're getting caught off guard here.
Ali has both summons available, does flash away from Twisted, but hostile takeover of the wall is going to hit. Viking it does just about hit. Smiley as well, a little bit of CC there. Have that flash available, he's going to have to burn that eel to get away from Peng here. Chasing, find it. Zeri's off to the side now, not much mana. Ability to chase not really there. It's 5 now. Difficult for me to anticipate much getting done here, but important to note is that if Ronaldo can find this angle here, let's have the ultimate available. We'll be able to take that Schoenfire rather easily.
No,
maybe can buy some time here.
Seagull was getting split for just a second there, quickly realizing his mistakes. Now
Ronaldo, he goes in, going to be able to play with the Shroud for a little bit. And, well...
Oh my god, he's going in, he's all over the place. I don't know what's happening. It's going absolutely mad here in the broadcast. Back to a little replay, so let's take it from the top.
I think Smiley's going to heal now. Yeah, he heals.
Oh my god.
I think, important to note, Ronaldo, I think he's going to go around and find a flank.
Yeah, I think Victor
is
is
kind of my
actually going to be
foresight,
spotting
you know?
Zico here. Yeah, I think he's going to spot him here. And as you said, Ronaldo, I think he will go for a flank there. Oh, that's us now.
Oh, it's us.
Oh, wow. Hello
Oh.
there. How you doing? Get a cup of water. It's important to stay hydrated. Check your posture.
Oh, well,
Make sure
juice,
that...
actually. You'll be criticising me for being unhealthy.
What are you drinking?
Like summer juice. I've got like cranberry juice here, you know?
Cranberry
Antioxidants.
juice.
Antioxidants, man.
Disgusting, man.
It helps the brain, man.
At least let it be apple juice or something like that, you know?
Well, as you call it, Edelstein.
No, apple juice. You're mixing apple and apple. Oh, you're mixing orange and apple together. Apple juice is apple and appleseed juice is orange. Like, get your juices correct.
I don't care for your silly language.
You know how ignorant that sounds as a UK caster, yeah?
Extremely, but I'm, you know. There's a reason we're talking this language, Goldborg.
Yeah. You know, I was over with my friend, spending my vacation. I was actually spending my vacation time in Manchester, not doing anything. After MSI, I was just so knackered that I just had to play video games all that. As I spent my vacation, sat down in an apartment in Manchester and played video games, ordered takeaway. And I think we were watching one of your live streams as well. I think you were doing a tier list at the time as well, actually.
Yeah.
Of either Div 3. And my friend just said that you sounded like the most pure UK person in the world. I don't know if that's a good takeaway or if that's a bad takeaway, but you definitely had a very... I don't know, is it called chav? What do you call your accent?
Oh my god, have you just referred to me as a chav?
I have no idea what that means.
Well, I won't get into the kind of ramifications behind that, but it's essentially something to denote someone of a lower social class. Well, we see Ronaldo goes in here. Does he kill Schoenfire? This is what we wanted to find out. He actually doesn't. He just gets...
He's out!
He's taken out there. Is Twitch Poison going to take him out? Not quite, though. He does manage to get out, though. He doesn't get Schoenfire.
Like, how has he managed to do that? I feel like everything should go wrong for him there. The handshake, you could throw it into the Event Horizon. There was a pillar that could throw him into the Event Horizon. None of these things just got him locked up and taken down. I can't believe he actually managed to live that.
Oh, well, good for him that he's able to get out there. And even better that they're able to take the mid lane turret here, Goldborg, because that's going to open up the map. I feel like when you play with a champion like Pyke as well, being able to, much like we saw previously with the Twitch, if you're able to get up to the top division, team as well on this champion, like catch up and punish any sort of Z-cores or Pengs who are catching waves particularly high. Definitely great for them. I feel like really as a team, with the way that their competition functions, they need to have as much space to play with on the map. And owing to that is the fact that they've taken down 3 of these outer turrets almost immediately within this game.
That's the thing, like, who's going to enter to the side lane? Because, yeah, maybe if you're in an even gold state and you're going in for flight around a objective, you find out Rental Rising, raid, you pretty much mitigate what the composition of Go does so well. But once you start opening up on a side lane, there's so many shadow champions that can shadow you rather, right? You get Pyke from the darkness coming through, you get Viego from the mist. It's just so difficult to take, really keep these champions in check. And once Go starts taking mid lane priority, what we really would like to see is just them pick a side lane they want to attack, move their pieces back and forth from here, and just get control and information. Ronaldo, moved on by Schoenfire, out of mobility, I think. Oh, there we have it, perfect execution.
Not flash, but he's just going to have to dodge out. Ronaldo doing such a good job of just almost flitting in and out of getting a little bit of danger here. We can get right up and close to him, and personal, that is going to be the case, getting forced forward. Oh, the bailout here is going to need... Oh, it's so close. Oh, just needed one more little bit of damage there, and Wagner would have been absolutely toast.
One more auto would have completely mitigated that. Execution would not have come through, but no, they still find the pick despite Seeker having flash and that exhaust. Impressive pickup from Wagner once again on the Pyke. Now bot lane being attacked. Let's see. They can continue on this one.
He almost takes out Dalek on his own. Here is he's all the way back.
I love that skin. He builds like a little train tracks while he's moving. That's quite cute. But on top side again, Ronaldo still attacking, and once again it's just Go puppeteering the opponent around the map. They're the one who has the tempo, they're the one with the priority, they're the one who's making the attacks, and OPL just not finding a way to attack back. All they're doing right now is just plain reactive. It's not going to win you any games. They need to find a point in time where they feel confident and comfortable taking some of these fights. Of course, they can allow themselves to wait for this. For the side of Vega, want to wait for that Rabadon step cap. On the side of Twitch, Mythic still haven't come through yet. Of course, you've lost the Blade of the Rune King, and then afterwards build it into the Kraken Slayer. Even in this game, you might even see a Gale Force just to stay on top of the mobility. But once again, some of these Mythics need to come through.
Well, it's like they always say, Goldborg, you know, if you crack a few eggs to make an omelette,
yeah,
you end up being a shell of your former self. And Oplon, obviously, having to stop themselves from bleeding out quite a few advantages this game, because if they do bleed too much, they will go unconscious. And that's not going to be very good for their chances. I feel like they need to take their fights, like you're saying, take their advantages when they can get them. But one of the problems is they've fallen so far behind in this early game to where does that chance come for them?
I mean, once again, being first on the objective can be absolutely huge. And I love the question coming out here, because they're now making their move on towards this dragon. The problem for them right now is that Ronaldo is going to be able to push in topside, and they will lose resources. Ronaldo has TP. If they decide to let someone answer the push-in come from Ronaldo, they're giving up Drake pressure. So they're put in this position where they have to make a decision. Either you 100% go for the Drake, or you play for the other move.
Magnum gets taken quite low here. Kareem is on the side there, and there's a choice for Go to make here with Ronaldo in the top side getting so many advantages with a tier 2. Oplon are pretty much locked into one decision tree at this point. Like Go, a little bit more flexibility. It does seem to be the call that they are going on towards the Baron now. Big ultimate over the side here. A lot of stuns coming out. Yuku can do a lot of damage here. Ronaldo has chosen to ult in here. They're going to be trying. Oh, hostile takeover is just absolutely abysmal there. They're not able to do much with it. Pen gets taken out. Ronaldo R2 here. He's going to take a lot of kills here. Smiley now as well. Gale Force away, but they're not able to do anything. Viking doing so much without Rojal. It's just a pretty disastrous team fight. There's not really much more to say. That Smiley flashes over the wall. He fancies his chances against defense high on. Wagner going to be helping him off to the side here as well. It's an ace. Will Go. Not really much to say. Disappointing affair for Oplon.
It's just like everything's going right for Team Go here. They're finding the team fights. They're finding the outplays. But also, as you said, at the same time, you have to call out some of the ability layering from the side of OPL. Twist completely whiffing his ultimate, and at the same time Peng just not connecting with that Event Horizon. It makes it very easy for the champions to just pop off from the side of Go. And you know, Seiko, he did his best to pop off on the Twitch. Unfortunately, it's just not enough. And it is going to be the second Drake going over to the likes of Go. Maybe even Ronaldo picking up a second turret here on the top side to get himself 600 gold.
Ronaldo, once again, might be in a little bit more trouble than he's used to here. Going to be able to use that R2 to get a little bit away. It's just continually, time and time again, twinkle toes is Ronaldo. He's just constantly able to work himself up on the side lane. It doesn't really matter what they seem to throw at him. He's just always able to find his way out, and he's just major point of frustration, I can imagine, for Oplon at this point.
100%, especially going into a draft where you feel like you have the lockdown of some of these champions that gets to be so immobile. All of a sudden, you're not able to lock a single one down. And now, just going to apply even more pressure. No flash from Schoenfire.
Zeri just doing so much damage with, I want to say, is the W, right?
It is indeed.
Intuition is good.
Yeah, be confident, bro. You got this.
100%. With that AP build, obviously, as well, you see some people pivot to it. It does a lot more damage, but it's still doing substantial damage even with this build. Just able to kind of dissuade a lot of the engages, and you've got to see that Oplon is an element of their composition where, although they need to catch people out, they have to step forward slightly to get that E out from Vhagar, and then sort of just Twitch not exactly having a lot of range if he's not using that ultimate and expending that resource forward.
Not good check position this one.
Something like Zeri, you can just dissuade that so much here. So just has to be careful, and that's how Hook lands onto him. Going off to the side, Ken gets engaged on here. R2 is going to mean so much. Wagner going over the wall there. He finds the ultimate. The hostile takeover only lands on the Smiley. It's not doing too much damage. The team twist is not going to get too much. Ultimate does go wide there from Wagner, but Shanfire gets taken over, as taken out as well, and it's 3 kills for Go, and Oplon just bleeding and bleeding more out, and losing their chances. All of them.
I mean, okay, slow it down. Pause, keep it calm. This is an absolute start to Go. Everything's going right for them. They're having 3 people tanking the Baron. Baron was even on mission. They didn't ping it initially. OPL knew that it had been started off. Doesn't stop Ronaldo from just coming through. Absolutely one-shotting the Vhagar before he can even get the event device up and running, even at the ever-cross as well. Nothing slowing any of these champions down. Now with Baron buff as well, with the availability to open the map and play the skirmishes and the enemy junglers, we've already seen. I'm really just expecting Go here to pull forward and try and up the tempo even more than we've already seen from them. Immaculate play from them, especially considering the draft disposition they were in from the beginning.
Yeah, completely agree. I think, we spoke about how much ease of execution there was for Oplon in contrast to Go, like you're saying, how much they need kind of to all be on the same page and all operating on individual cylinders, and they've delivered on all of that. I feel like no one's really slacking behind. Vigrum is constantly able to find these ultimates like he's done, and sometimes being the sacrificial lamb in these team fights. But
here we go.
Speaking of which, the ultimate over the wall from Peng, I'm all deal first, is going to secure Vigrum, and just as we sang his praises, difficult pass to curse fashion, he does end up getting caught.
I feel like we've seen that a couple of times. It's the second time Vigram's been making a little bit of an overextension there. We saw it when they committed to a topside play earlier. He got caught around Drake, the only Drake that OPL picked up actually. And this time around, while they're getting aggressive with the Baron, has to forfeit their pressure a little bit just due to the fact that they're now at a man disadvantage.
Yeah, going to be a little bit of time before they can get that kind of tempo back to being equal. Vigrum back on the map, lots of pressure, but it's not stopping Smiley in the bot lane. Going very aggressively, Gale forces forward, gets a flash out from Zekor. See him moving rather aggressively just before that. He's going to have to hold Charlie. Not doing too much, he's getting stunned up here. Kareem's coming around to help him. Peng is going quite low, has to use that E almost immediately. Zekor has ulted. They find Smiley in the side lane, and some uncharacteristic mistakes being made here. They will almost find Schoenfire, but Kareem gets taken out as well. UQ gets Veigar there, a lot of damage. He's doing so much damage here. He finds Zekor as well, flashes away. He might be able to go in the wall over a second here with the E. The over the wall doesn't do much here. Ronaldo trying to fish here, but the team fight looks disastrous. 2 catches are found by Oplon. It only ends up coming up equally.
Yes, hello Riot, nerf Seri W please. What in the world? Letting that ability scale with crit has been one of the most interesting decisions for a while, and I feel like the damage that just came through there, absolutely insane. Yes, he's incredibly fair. That's just, wow. I can't believe he got blown up by that. And now pushing on towards the inhibitor mid lane and bot lane should be sure to fall. They don't have to look for the end now. 10 seconds on Peng. Imagining that they are just taking care of this bottom one, getting out of the side, and then just relocating and regrouping for the topside turret.
Yeah,
there's in 15 seconds.
Absolutely no need to kind of march towards that, premature end almost. I feel like almost there's certain things in this game that have spelled out the dawn of the end of the game for Oplon, almost since the early minutes. I mean, we spoke about like 10-minute markers around about 4k gold lead or so. It's incredible here. Even the Smiley over aggression here to use the Gale Force and try and take out Zekor. He does end up getting taken out, but even as Kareem is taken out here, it's just New Cube pretty much 1d4 able to find 2.
The damage is, is absolutely insane. And even then, as you said, it's just New Cube.
Through exhaust
Actually,
as well.
1 versus 4 at that point. Ollie playing against Ronaldo. Ronaldo able to take him down, but absolutely incredible fight. And you even take into account that they played it so individual. There was no team play. It was literally just Smiley going 1 versus 3. Then it was New Cube 1 versus 4. But it just works out for them because of how far ahead they are. And of course it should. This 14k ahead. Soul point as well. Doesn't even need the Baron probably. They are just so far ahead.
Yeah, it almost feels as if this is sort of a statement from Go to say, you guys are nowhere in our ballpark. You're so behind the curve in terms of what we can offer.
Yeah.
Kind of being mirrored somewhat in the draft, and generally speaking through the way that they're playing, it's just no kind of individual show rules being put out at this point. Who can find the best player at the end of this game, and I'm not able to really ever come up with any responses. It feels like they were always playing second fiddle, always being reactive, and you said it earlier, Corporal, being reactive won't win you games, and you have to give up certain advantages when you are behind against this kind of in draft, and as you're moving towards that late game, it's always just gave too much, too much in this.
It's definitely some of the same sides we're seeing from OPL, but once again we have to sing the praises of Pro, and they're still doing very well now. Looking to take down the topside turret, potentially on this cannon wave thing, still doing a good job at clearing it, but supers are coming in from the bot side. It's very low Nexus turrets. Like at some point, OPL has to look for a fight. They have to look for a way to get back into this one because, Go, they could just keep taking it slow, just slowly but surely try to beat them out.
Well, I'd like to see them do a slightly better job here in terms of syncing up the waves. I think they don't have much choice now, but get a little bit slower. Allow those waves to sink into the bot lane turret, make decisions, pull them around the map. Like really, this just has to be a slow death of 1,000 cuts in terms of finishing off the game. Otherwise, you're going to be heading towards that Baron, and I think they can actually force out an official fight. You can force Oplon into a fight here, I feel.
Yeah, this time around, both mid lane and bot lane comes in at the same time. Topside wave still a little bit away. This time around, they should be able to sync them better. You can see it now, OPL. They're deciding where they want to go. Are we going topside? Are we defending our Nexus? Now it looks like it's going to be the Nexus on the topside instead. Then can they finally take down that turret? No, Peng is still around. But they hold on, OPL. For better or worse in this situation. And Go, they might just have to wait for that Baron. 30 seconds for it to come through. Surely Baron up empowered minions is what they need then.
Oplon doing, to their credit, pretty good job of defending. I think a lot of it owes down to those kind of somewhat indecision. Also, slight macro weakness in terms of I feel like they haven't quite synced up these waves in the best way they could have. I think Ball can probably elucidate to us more of what they could have done in that regard. But for me, Go, not really any troubles. I think whether this game takes you another minute, whether it takes you another 5, doesn't necessarily matter too much. It does seem like they're marching very much to what is an inevitable victory. The only thing on them now is not making that crucial mistake, not going in like Smiley, Gale forcing forward. Just finish out the game in a calm and collected way.
Yeah, now Barrett has just been started up. Is there going to be any contention? Currently, it doesn't look like it. Not the best gun for Aphelios to take down a turret here. Yes, you get the right, the red, but you don't get the white. Unfortunately, no Danish combination coming through, but it's still just not going to be contested at all. And now, surely, it's super minions in mid lane and in bot lane, and Barrett up empowered minions coming through on the top side. This should be the final nail in the cup and for OPL, unless they miraculously can hold on. And if they can, or maybe there's a light at the end of the tunnel then.
Completely. I feel like it's beginning of the end. You've said it a few times now, not to be pessimistic. Difficult for Oplon to really do much. I feel like Peng, obviously having scaled up to the 3-item mark, one of those items is going to be an anathema, so he is very much relying not just off of raw damage, off of scaling damage rather, just finding those extra minions, finding those extra passive attacks. And if you have a look at how much AP he has, I imagine he's in the ballpark of around 800, 900 maybe, Rabadons, but whether or not that's enough is just a question that they might find Smiley here across, and they take him almost immediately. Big, they're not going to be able to find a return, and Smiley once again is going to be the one who bears the brunt of a misstep here, but with all these waves stacking now, 5v4, will the advantage mean anything for Oplon?
I think they're still keeping it going. There's top side for now.
They've got Kareem as well.
God. One after another.
And this is the point. This is the point where questions start to get asked. Really not showing a lot of decisive ability to close out a game here. 2 members going down. Oplon are really starting to get a lot of advantages from these waves that are sinking into them. 2 inhibitors, now with those down, they've been able to have the advantage of having 2 inhibitor farmed waves onto your carries for about 5 minutes now. They've worn out the Baron now as well. They've got to be careful here. They have spotted it out. It's going to be Darla Cortez in front of that hook. Teleport from Peng here.
Look at Nuke in the mid lane as well. He's going to be pushing in the way. There's that teleport
for Ronaldo. They CC him as he goes into stasis. Vigrum needs to find an ultimate. Z-Core's in the bailout. Vigrum's been caught though. Ronaldo going to be using that E any second now. You imagine he goes back in. A lot of damage. Flashes away from the potential CC. Peng is having to deal with Nuke as well. Taking out 2 inhibitors now. 3 inhibitors down, and it's just every second it looks slightly good for Oplon. It's just come up with absolute disaster. It's really unfortunate. You know, you can appreciate them wanting to further their further the kind of abscess they've been given in the wake of Wagner in the wake of Smiley and Kareem being getting caught out on that previous fight, but can't push beyond their base. The land beyond their base is very much a foreign land to them.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, this game just keeps getting drawn out. I mean, as long as they can keep the Nexus turrets from falling, maybe if they can wait for that one mistake to come through from Go, as Go has been kind of sloppy with the end, they might be able to find it, but once again, it is Go who's putting on the pressure. It is Go who's now have 3 inhibitors down. 2 super minions from each lane will be coming through. They do have the Mountain Soul as well to work around with, gaining some extra resistance, which is of course lovely when you're playing against champions that wants to one-shot you, like the Vega. But so far, they're still making good work of the minions. And Go, they have not been allowed access to the Nexus turrets just yet.
Yeah, I feel like it's really the case that Go has to kind of find that pincer maneuver, utilize that side lane, but the major issue for them is that you saw Nuki was able to do that in their previous exchange, but the problem is when you're all but remains in the Nexus turrets, there's not really a side lane that exists, and as long as they can hold on to this wave here, that Nexus getting so low, they should find a little bit more damage onto it. Oplon continue to hold on this game. That Nexus turret was so low, but if Oplon can just hold on to it for now, Smiley goes low, but then if Hurt's Nexus turret does fall, it is so crucial that they managed to keep on to the one.
Move into Ryzen, put through Nuku caught in the middle of it.
Just caught in the middle of it, they found him. He gets taken out here. Schönfire getting taken quite low, but he needs to knock all the way on that threshold. Hostile Taker comes out as well. Ronaldo's in, but he's in the stasis. He's in the Event Horizon, and he needs to try and take him out as he comes out. 2 more kills are found for Oplon, and they just continue to get all of these resources handed their way.
How do they hold on? How do they hold on? Oh, it's just the Vega once again coming through. Event Horizon one after the another. And we talked about it with the composition as well. It's difficult for these champions with so much mobility to really excel at that mobility when you're playing into a wall that will just stun you up no matter what. No one can come through it. Even the perfect execution with the second activation from Akali is not enough. That's why they're able to hold on. They don't have the range to play with. But even then, it's still 12k at a deficit here. But it starts to matter less when you look at the itemization, at least from Peng. It doesn't matter what he buys now. He will one-shot you if you get stunned. That's the matter of the fact. So Go, they need to realize that. They need to realize that there is still a pressure point on OPL that needs to be respected. And if they do not do that, well, they can push forward as many times as they want. They will fall to this Event Horizon if it's not respected.
Yeah, completely agree with you. And it's, you've got to imagine that a certain level of nerves are almost settling into Go. I feel like they just need to recuperate and just kind of get that balance found back. Realize that Elder Dragon in about 3 minutes. Maybe this is now the time where you just don't keep throwing your chances into the enemy. Just let the game go back to around about equal. This will of course give a chance for Oplon to move a little bit out of their base, move that vision line a bit further. But once you get to that Elder Dragon, you'd imagine that Go can still retain that control of the map to where they can get security around that objective, and then that can be their go button in terms of actually ending this game, because otherwise they've fired on all fronts and missed.
100%. But I mean, even then, like, you still, it still goes back to what you said earlier, Jake, right? Go, I mean, OPL, they're not allowed outside of their base. I mean, they're kind of just on house arrest at this point. Triple inhibitors down as well. No way you're ever going to come up and contest this Baron. Third Baron as well. Of this game so far, this game has gone a little longer this time around, and don't actually think it's because of the fact that I think it's more because of the position making we are seeing into the game. Fun fact as well, LEC games have actually become faster on this patch than they were early iterations.
That's interesting. I can't imagine that case.
But Korea has gone way off. Korea's timing, then I mean, yeah. It's just
that doesn't surprise me as much. But in any case, Go now staring down another attempt at their siege here. Only one Nexus turret remains. All the inhibitors are down, apart from the bot lane one. They're moving towards that now. Oplon so much just to dissuade this final siege. They can do it. They can get closer to this Elder Mark. That's that stopwatch now as well. Look out for that in terms of whether or not that can deny Kareem this crucial reset, Wagner and that crucial reset as well. It'll be a very important question to ask, to answer for them. Just continue to do it. They're able to just clear out some of these waves so quickly. Peng has around about 1200 AP now at this point.
Last 10 minutes, haven't even really objectives to the tower defense, but OPL now finally making some aggression themselves.
On to Smiley. Z-Core flashes after him. Can he find it? He's almost going to be able to do it. That's the heal out there. Shan heal is burned. UQ, though, picks out this inhibitor, but it's not been a problem before. Wagner off to the side now. Going to try and take out Z-Core, but can't quite manage to find it. UQ's found Peng, though. If Peng drops this to be gain here, he's your most important member. He does go down, but can they find Ronaldo? Ronaldo's in stasis. They found the Nexus turret, and just as you thought, Oplon, he said the base doesn't belong to them. It's almost house arrest. UQ and go into the base, and they just siege it the second they step out.
It's unfortunate. The things that had worked so well for OPL was just staying put at that Nexus turret, waiting for their opponent to walk into them. And then all of a sudden, they decide that they want to be the one who's on the aggression. They move out of their base, and they get